Bruce, the guys spoke about urgency, not being able to break pucks out well. It seemed like after the Henry goal, it seemed like Edmonton's defense was a little bit suffocating. Just what did you see from your vantage point?
I can't hear. From when?
From the first period on, just what Edmonton's defense seemed a little suffocating. What did you see from your vantage point?
Well, they got an early lead, so and they've been here before. You know, you got to manage the game if you do that. And they did a good job with it. You know, we had some looks, but we were kind of one and done. Not a lot of second chances, second effort plays for us. Needed to do a better job getting through the neutral zone, breaking them down if we were going to get some looks off the rush. And like I said, at times we got a few, not enough. But, you know, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball again. Early in the game with some similar plays below the goal line, we lost board battle and below the goal line battles, and they got it to the front of the net. Something we'd done a good job with the last 2 games, eliminating offense from there. And, you know, the first one, our low forward didn't hold his position, right? And that was, could have put out a fire there. And then the second one, you know, they won a battle in front, found a way to get it in. So from there, it was an uphill battle. We weren't able to, obviously, as just said, create enough offense. Power play let us down in the first period. Could have got us back in the game, certainly, but didn't execute well enough.
Bruce, both Jack and Riley mentioned that it just didn't feel like the forecheck was a 5-man unit. Obviously, you want to stay above their speed. What are the challenges of being aggressive on the forecheck while not getting beat on the way back?
Well, you got to be probably in sync with your shift length, right? You don't want to be in between. Puck placement's important in the forecheck, having everybody up, so your D can be part of that. A successful forecheck, yeah, it's your first guy. Obviously, if he's able to hound and make a mistake, that's what they did on their first goal. But in general, you know, even their third goal, we were, you know, our D came into the middle of the ice, probably not. You want to squeeze those plays off on the walls more than the middle. McDavid makes a play, and it wasn't nearly effective enough to create offense for us. Going back to the previous question, when you have a lead, that's probably how you got to get back in the game. You're going to have to get some forecheck turnovers. If you're on the power play, which we addressed that, we were on the power play 3 times. Great opportunity to sort of, you know, cut the margin, give ourselves some life. But in those 2 areas, we didn't, you know, not much offense, not enough.
They were kind of all over Hill at the beginning of the game there. Just how did you see all of those different scrums, and how do you think your guys handled it?
Listen, I think they ended. I don't know if they called one or not. They went into him a number of times. It's a conversation we'll have. We got to protect the area. He pushed back. You know, he showed some emotion to protect his area, and that's part of playoff hockey. But I would say the second goal, you know, that they just got there. We need to win that battle to neutralize their player to get that chance, right? So whether they go there or not, we've got to be stiff in there, right? And that's part of our team identity, and give them credit for getting inside there. And whether there was more calls or 8 calls, you know, that's something we'll look at, but I leave that up to the officials. We just got to make sure we take care of business there. Be a little stiffer, not allow them to at least get sticks on pucks, and then see what happens from there.
You have Game 5 at home now. What do you want to see differently from your group?
Well, we have to start better, Gary. I mean, you know, this is a couple games in a row now. We're chasing it, and we knew they'd come out better. We're a veteran group. It's on the coach to prepare the players, so, you know, that take my share of the responsibility. But it's also a veteran group. They got to know that, listen, this team's going to be hungry. You know, they're at home. Again, they come off a loss, so make sure we're on our toes. And I don't think there was enough players on their toes ready to go. So that'll be step 1 in Game 5. Make sure we push the envelope early and get to our game quicker. Because, you know, we had been progressively, I thought, building our game, and today we took a step back.
Bruce, you mentioned they had the early goal. After that, though, about 10 minutes, it was very physical, both teams. Lots of chances, and you guys had a breakaway and odd man rush. You look at that emotion of the first period, and your team seemed to match it. But after that, the game kind of calmed down. What did you see the difference maybe? Is it just too hard to maintain that intensity for both teams?
I think so. I think if you ask the players and they can't finish every check for 60 straight minutes, I think that's different. And everyone's wound up early. So there's hit, there's a counter hit, whatever. There's a push, there's a push back, there's a scrum, everyone's involved. I mean, that's playoff hockey. So, you know, we're okay with that, but we needed to score a goal to get sort of, as I said, you're right, there was a breakaway opportunity for us. There was a couple power plays to sort of, get the momentum back towards us, give us some life, some juice. We weren't able to do that. But the physical part, not that surprised. And I'm not surprised to calm down because I don't want to be in the box all game either. They took 3 minors in the first, so that's the sure way to get a team back in the game. So they established physicality. They got the lead. That's probably was their goal. And then from there, check well. And they did. They checked well. No easy passages through the neutral zone. It was all going to have to be play behind them or win your one-on-one race or battle somewhere. We did here and there, but not enough. So give them credit. They played the right way to win the game. They didn't get in the box, I don't think, after the first period. So there was no easy chances, no easy offense for us. Usually it's odd man rushes, penalties, right? You can get yourself back in the game. And we had a couple odd man rushes, but nothing, wasn't one after the other. We were going to have to do it the hard way. It was going to be nothing easy, and that's playing winning hockey for them. So good on them for, but they've been there. They were right there last year, so they know what it takes. We just have to be better to push through offensively.
Power play, you already mentioned it a little bit, but it definitely slowed down in this building. Where is it not clicking? Like, what's going on?
Power play?
Yeah.
Well, we moved it around well, and we have possession. We're just not taking the shot that's available. I think in our building, we ran some weak side plays, and we got some goals from it. So they're making that play a little more difficult. But the elbow shots are there. Jack run went off the crossbar, and those are the shots we have to take to break them down. I think Pav took a couple, but we missed some opportunities from there. If you can get that shot, get them scrambling, maybe off their feet, then the other plays open up. So a little bit of one and done in that situation too. So I thought we got a little stubborn with what was available to us. And they were able to get clears and recover pucks. Again, that's races, right? And they were better than us in the first period, races and battles. And that was, including their penalty kill against our power play.